Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of Quick and Dirty Vlogs. This will be the place where I discuss any breaking news, quick episode discussions, or news involving channel plans. Today's discussions will be the Dino Charge pilot, Rick Medina is murdering his roommate, and Patreon plans that I have going for the channel. So let's start off with the Dino Charge pilot. Now, you guys normally know from rants that I've always usually give the pilot a perfect score, even though notoriously the seasons usually end up being crap, aka Samurai, Megaforce, etc. But Dino Charge gave me a little bit of more hope, and I usually don't get this. The only time I ever gotten this type of like, wow, this was actually special and unique and good, was pretty much RPM, because when RPM premiered, it was totally unique, very different, it was more action oriented, but it also focused on less Rangers, and it didn't flood the entire team into the main story like usually how pilots have to introduce every single Ranger, introduce all the Zords, and do this and do that within, maybe 40 minutes if you get two-parters. Sometimes they don't. But Dino Charge felt unique mainly because after Samurai and Megaforce for 4 years, I got so used to seeing, poor, I wouldn't say poor acting, but because it's usually the director's fault to tell the actors what to do in that case, but usually poor acting, poor dialogue, which was the main problem, like Gia, Emily, whatever their names are. I can't even remember their names because they're all pretty much similar. Gia, Mia, Emily, whatever the hell they were. Either they were stuck as tomboy or ditzy, and they had no real in between. That's all their main character was. But in the Dino Charge pilot, we had a fair good amount of character development within just the main pilot. We get introduced to most of the cast, not everyone, but they also choose to focus on 2 Rangers only, while the other ones will get focused on later on, which is really great. I particularly like that they focused on Red and Pink instead of, the guys, and then maybe Pink would get featured later. I like that they went with that. And also, I'm particularly happy that Tyler, I forget his name, I actually enjoyed him. He wasn't, the stoic Jaden who was, to quote No Pink Spandex, wax figure, or, I'm forgetting, oh god, I'm forgetting Megaforce now. I'm blanking out, sorry. I have the stoic, the stiff, I look good, but I always say the same thing over and over again problem. Troy. Him and Jaden I always hated so much because they pretty much didn't do anything. They just did the same one-note thing over and over again. But Tyler, he was a fairly good fresh air. I mean, he's not perfect. After so many 20 years of Red Rangers, you're going to have overlap, which is not a bad thing. There's a lot of Red Rangers that I saw in him's personality that I do like. I took a bit of Jason, him being in charge, introducing himself to people, Wes kind of having the fun go-lucky action adventure type of thing, and a few other Rangers in there thrown in there. My favorite bit was Shelby's personality. Yeah, she works in a nice reference to Jungle Fury inside the Dino shop and all this other stuff, but she felt more as a real person because she wasn't stuck as tough chick or ditzy. She was more of a normal person. She kind of acted like a nerd because, again, she works inside this dinosaur exhibit museum, so she has to know her stuff. And she wants to, work with the other guys and stuff. So it was actually really interesting. She wasn't all stuck there. She also wanted to help out, this and that. We also get introduced to the other Rangers, Chase and Coda. We don't see Riley yet, but it's cool. I do like that Chase is actually New Zealander. It's the first time the series finally represents its actual filming location, hometown, which is great. Coda, I don't really have any thoughts about him yet because, again, he didn't do much except, kind of be funny, ate a burger with his whole mouth, a good comedy sketch. So I'll pass judgment on him when I know more about him. Chase, he's the, the standard, the cool guy. He was also pretty good in his dialogue delivery as well. Kendall, who is the brains of the group and of course of the museum, again, we don't know much about her, so don't really know where to go with her yet as well. But I do like the pilot. Another good thing about the pilot was that it was pretty much all U.S. footage. There was no Japanese footage, which has happened in a very long time. I really enjoy that the most. It was all original material. The villains so far are excellent. You get a bonus from me because Sledge is voiced by Sergane from PR Ninja Storm, and if you guys follow me, you know that I love Ninja Storm a lot. So that was a really good bonus. How they handled the Kyoryuger boss leaders, pretty good. I expected pretty much from them. They're very similar to their counterparts, but they're not identical. And I like the bridge, although there's some reuses from the past bridges and other stuff from like Samurai, noticed. I do like the kind of cool jail cell kind of references Time Force when they held everyone in containment, and a few other places like Grum and that so forth. Though I also like that they had integrated the asteroid collision that wiped out the dinosaurs into the story. I didn't see that coming. Another interesting thing I liked is that the Keeper, he's basically Larigo done right. I mean, the one reason why I hated Larigo in Turbo was not because he was an alien or whatnot. It was his voice and the lack of talking that made the character pointless. I know they were trying to go with the whole Dapu from Car Ranger, but it wasn't funny and it didn't feel right in Turbo, so I never really liked the character. While Keeper was actually good. Was kind of trying to be funny, but he was also being mainly serious. And, you know, he was basically protecting the Energems from the bad guys. Although I wonder what will happen in the next episode, I have no idea. Other areas that I really liked was the opening theme song. Now, originally when I first heard the opening theme song, I thought it was 90% perfect, but then 10% bad because it reused the Go-Go Power Ranger theme song and then the reuse of the Samurai Megaforce bits. But seeing the full opening makes me actually appreciate those parts again because this is actually still an original song versus while the other two seasons, or 4 seasons, they just recycled it and changed lyrics. So that opening to me now is 100% perfect, and I don't hate those reuses of the MMPR theme. I can't think of anything that I hated about the opening. I guess the only thing I could really say is that because we only saw episode 1 and episode 2 didn't air with it, that's like maybe the only thing, because I would have liked to know more about Chase and Coda, but it was nice to focus on mainly just 2. The only similarity between Kyoryuger and Dino Charge so far is Tyler's backstory. That's like the closest you can get to similarities. His father goes missing. That's the closest you get to similarities. Other than that, it's pretty much unique. He kind of does give me a Cole vibe too, because he likes to, you know, search and hunt and look, and he's prepared. I also do like how it seems every dinosaur season has to have a Jeep in some capacity. The first episode of Dino Thunder had that black Jeep. MMPR had a couple of Jeeps later on in the seasons as they went along. And now we have this red one that kind of looked like something from Jurassic Park. I do like the little bits where Tyler had a little that comedy sketch where he was pulling stuff out of his backpack and he pulled out underwear, a banana, and I was like, why do you have a banana in there? My favorite bit was probably when they morphed. They actually morphed and didn't know what to do. I particularly like it when Rangers don't know what the hell's going on. They just pull out stuff and they also kind of knew it, and it's just like, what? I prefer it where it's more realistic like they did, where they were just fooling around. They could have easily blown up the gun. I do hope that the full morph for Dino Charge is not a 100% copy of the Kyoryuger Henshin. I particularly like it when PR uses its own original material rather than either rip it off or take the footage for their morph. So hopefully it's somewhat different. I mean, there of course will be similarities, like say Jungle Fury is kind of similar to the Geki Ranger's Henshin and so forth, but I particularly don't like it when they use or they blatantly just copy it, like say Mega Forces to Gosagers. That was virtually identical, and I was like, you might as well just use the Japanese footage in the first place, especially when they didn't want to erase the Gosei Red, Gosei Blue, etc. on the cards. I guess we should segment into the second topic, which is Rick Medina murdering his roommate. I don't really have much to say about him doing it. Me personally, I think it was self-defense, but we don't have the information on what's going on because, again, his roommate is dead. We have no idea, but they didn't really give a full explanation yet. The worst thing I think is that the news on how they horribly reported on it. I mean, they didn't even half the time get what season he was from, which I thought was atrocious. First, they're saying Red Ranger from the first season. Then other people are saying, oh, it's the Samurai Ranger. And I'm like, can you please tell people what season and what Ranger he played so that people get correct info instead of blaming Alex Hartman or Austin St. John? I thought that was bad news reporting. It's like they didn't care to get the correct details. They just wanted to throw it out there again and say, ooh, a Power Ranger killed someone, just like that other extra guy from, they thought, oh, that guy killed it. And I was like, ugh. It seems the news reporters always seem to screw up whenever some major PR thing happens. It's very, very annoying, and it doesn't help anything in this series. I do hope that the fandom does not go crazy over this, whether it's good or bad for Rick Medina. I don't want to see more people hating on the Wild 4 season. Yes, it's not a good particular season, but I hope people just don't badmouth it just because this incident happened and it just basically makes it go down the drain. I guess the last topic I should talk about is the Patreon topic that I've been talking about on Twitter and stuff. Basically, for the past year, many people have been requesting and basically asking, can you bring the show back? Can you bring Ranger Review back? Is it coming back? Is this and that and everything? I've been thinking about it for a very long time. I didn't want to stop making videos. I wanted to keep doing it, but we were forced to. But people have suggested in recent times, why don't you try a Patreon campaign? So again, this time I said, you know what, I'll actually try it. So sometime this week, I'm going to be starting a Patreon campaign. I'll be having a video that'll explain everything, this involved, that involves, what it involves, there, here, what. If it works, we can keep the show, we can start the show going and see what happens. I really don't know what to expect. It's up to everyone who wants to support us. If you can, you'll get the information in the Patreon video that will come out sometime this week. I have to still film it and put it together, and then it explains all the information. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I have no problems continuing the series as long as the show can support itself in some capacity. I think every now and then I'll be doing these quick and dirty vlog episodes that'll cover any breaking news. Like if I really thought I wanted to discuss this episode of Dino Charge or any big news update with the channel or something, or we're going to go somewhere or do something, that's when I'll bring these vlogs up. But I particularly got more enthusiastic for the series after 4 years because how good Dino Charge was. That's one reason why I started thinking about the bringing Ranger Review back seriously, just because Dino Charge, where they showed that, you know, giving it to someone that can actually deliver a quality series, it gives me enthusiasm. Because when Samurai was on and Megaforce was on, I honestly didn't even care about the show. So it gave me less and less reason to continue the series, on the top of it with all the other problems that we were going with this channel. So that was one of the factors why we discontinued it, but also another factor why I want to bring it back. So hopefully it works out, and I continue doing these vlogs and give you guys more updates, and tell me what you think about this, dirty vlogs and stuff, and see if you like it. Suggestions of what you want me to discuss more on the comments below, and let's see if we go there. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this first episode.